Who's behind all those cameras watching us? I think what makes it first of interest in interesting show is the premise of not just trying to solve, it's trying to prevent. It's probably not a good night for a walk.
Cameras in place. The number of cameras in Manhattan is officially countable. What happens to all that information, and what could you do with all that information?
Some people would call it Orwellian. In this day and age, we have the ability to detect this sort of information. It's not science fiction. It's not something that can't possibly happen. It is happening.
The machine is everywhere, watching us with 10,000 eyes, listening with 1 million ears. I had built it to prevent the next 9/11, but it was seeing all sorts of crimes. Crimes the government considered irrelevant. They wouldn't act, so I decided I would.
There's a computer somewhere that's realizing all this information, drawing conclusions, and then predicting what might come next.
Do you see that man, Detective? He's about to be involved in a violent crime.
You can't know that. NYPD, everything's under control.
That, Detective Carter, is what we do.
This machine is giving enough information to actually go in and prevent something from happening, but not knowing if the person who you're involved with is the perpetrator or the victim.
Just a social security number. 9 digits, that's all we get.
Forgot your jacket.
We're in danger. Come with me.
Don't look back. Just keep walking.
I have to say, you continue to surprise me.
Likewise, Mr. Reese.
What's your plan, John? No plan. I'll just take the direct approach.
Your version of a lucky day is being shot.
A shot. Disgraced.
What exactly the machine is, how it was created, are mysteries that we're going to return to over the course of the series.
There's an element of hope. There's a chance to be there in time. It's sort of a superhero movie without capes. Everymen who are out there in the world fighting the bad guys with whatever resources they have. We have heroes, not superheroes.
You work in secret. You'll never find us. But victim or perpetrator, if your number's up, we'll find you.
Akshay, once you can just give a brief insight as to what was happening in the video.
So
I'll be covering,
yeah, guys,
I'll be covering it, Akshay.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you guys first for joining in today. So I know the video wasn't extremely clear. There was a little bit of lag between the audio and the video. So as Ayan and Akshay were saying, let's first look at what was happening, right? So okay, give me a second. Okay, so yeah, so basically there's a show called Person of Interest. So it's an English TV show, as you guys might have already guessed, right? So what happens in that is basically, you guys might have heard, right? A year ago in China, so they were having a new system in which cameras are placed in the public. You have them in trains, you have them on roads, you have them in buses, and they look at individuals' behavior and they give points based on that. So if an individual is doing good to the community, he's not littering the place, he's being well with people, this person gets more points. So the more points you have, the better in a society you become. You can get higher paid jobs, you can go to better schools, you can get better health facilities. So all of this is being done by AI, right? So there was a recent investigation in which they were saying Huawei was involved in installing these cameras. So it's a huge scale. So what happened in the video we showed was there was an AI machine built that would detect crimes before they happened. So the protagonist, what would happen is the AI machine would spit out one number, one social security number, which is like the Aadhaar number in the US. So it would give you that number, and using that number, you could track out if that person was a victim or was causing the next disaster or a bad incident. So AI has like far-reaching ideas, far-reaching impact and stuff like that, right? So through this course, this freshers orientation, we want to get you into the whole world of data science, machine learning, AI, and all those interesting, mind-boggling, and practically relevant concepts for you guys. So to start off, thank you so much for attending and being here today. I promise you that it will be completely worth your time. And I hope that you guys can, probably still message your friends and ask them to come in. So now let's start off by seeing whom this course is for, right? This particular event. This event is not just for people in circuit branch, it's not just for students in computer science, electrical and electronics, but also to all those in the non-circuit branches as well. So Ayan over here is from chemical engineering, and he's using data science and data analysis in his day-to-day work as well. So if you're from a non-circuit branch, do not worry. This course and this particular event is extremely relevant to you as well. So without further ado, let me call on Abhijit, one of our assistant analysts, to introduce and to continue. So for those of you who are here, stay till the end, please, because in the end, we're going to talk about what kind of companies come on campus for data science, consulting, and machine learning roles, how you can prepare for them, and what exactly those jobs entail. So if you want to be career ready and future proofed, you really need to stay until the end. So thank you, and over to Abhijit.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible. I'm Abhijit. I'm pursuing my BTech second year in electrical and electronics engineering. Firstly, I, on behalf of the Big Data Analytics and Consulting Cell, would like to welcome you all to this orientation session. The main objective of this session is to build a bridge between the club and young enthusiasts like you by letting you all know our club functioning and the activities of our club. And then we'll go through a brief technical discussion on Python and machine learning by discussing its daily life examples. And then at the end, rather look at a very interesting demo. So we'll just start right off, right? About us. What is the analytics and consulting cell? Firstly, we compete. We participate in machine learning competitions on behalf of our institute. The machine learning competitions are conducted by Kaggle and so. And then we teach. We conduct workshops and technical sessions on data science, big data, and machine learning. And thirdly, we consult. By consult, what do I mean is we inculcate skill sets required in the field of consulting and analytics, and then take up industrial consultancy. Apart from the club activities which we do together, each and every one of us individually engaged into our own areas of interest in machine learning and data science. For example, I've been working on TensorFlow and CNN right now, presently since the past month. And Anshuman here is working on reinforcement learning and other stuff. He's worked on a lot on machine learning. So every one of us are individually engaged into some work or the other, while we come together and we do the above club activities. So coming to the club activities, sessions with the world's leading data scientists. We had with us Dr. Gana Pogrebna, who is a lead for behavioral data science at London. So we had Parul with us, who is a data science evangelist at H2O.ai. So this is a brief introduction to our club. Before going into the brief technical discussion on Python and machine learning, I would just like to clear on a rather outdated perception of about science and jobs it presents us. So earlier, there used to be a constraint perspective of computer science jobs that are restricted to software engineers or IT specialists. But now things have changed literally. So especially since the birth of deep learning in 2013, there has been more opportunities in data science. There is no doubt in mentioning that data science and AI are the future. You can here see a newspaper clipping here, which was printed on 30th May 2019, which says that over the next 3 years, there's going to be a shortage of 200,000 analytics professionals. That is by 2022, there's going to be a shortage of 200,000 analytics professionals. So this literally sums up the demand of data science and machine learning in today's world. You can see this exponential increase of after introduction, let's just dive into data science. So we will be discussing about data science. Data science is a very vast topic. We'll rather go into the tools, the programming languages which are used in data science. We have Python, R, Tableau, MATLAB, SAS, Vika, Mathematics, and many more other languages, and which are used in data science. We have Java, C, C++ as well, which we use in data science. As we all, or some of Python is increasingly becoming the default choice for data science. So let's discuss why Python. What is that speciality in Python which is making it the most preferred language as far as data science is concerned? So let's just discuss about Python. Why Python? Basically, Python is used in both prototyping and production. What do I mean by prototyping and what do I mean by production is, take of an MNC, like Amazon. So it hires business and statistics engineers and programmers and IT engineers. Often, when data has to be transferred between these two sets of employees, when data is being analyzed from the company database, often there arises a situation where communication between these two employees whose domains are not at all intersecting becomes very crucial. So that is where Python enters. Python acts as an interface between the computer science domain people and the non-technical people like the business or statistical people who are literally the pillars of such a big organizations. On the lower end, Python is very easy to learn for beginners. Python is beginner friendly. On the other end, on the higher end, Python acts like a full-fledged language. The IT engineers or the programmers use Python as a full-fledged language in their daily work. That is the vast, what can I say, the range of Python, the range it covers from the lower end to higher end, which makes it so special language. Often, and it is a very famous saying that Python is an executable pseudocode. Now, what do you mean by pseudocode is, pseudocode consists of less of a syntax and more of a daily language. It consists of daily expressions, the daily day-to-day language, and less of syntax. So Python is such a language where we can write our daily day-to-day in conversations, and then we can compile it and run the code. That is the beginner friendliness, I can say, of Python. So to really understand, to really grasp the power of Python, let's just discuss quite a bit about the libraries which are in Python. So we have a library called NumPy Python, which provides the ability for efficient loading, storing, processing dimensional data. Basically, with NumPy, we can deal with arrays. NumPy is the library with which we deal with arrays in Python. NumPy here is derived from MATLAB. It derives the advantages of MATLAB, and basically it is an ideation of MATLAB in Python. And similarly, we have the Pandas library, which provides data structures and functions to manipulate structured data. What do you mean by structured data is, consider a room which is full of which has systematically arranged clothes, right? The party wear clothes or the daily home clothing and so on. It's an analogy that data is systematically stored in a particular room, and we call that a structured data. So Pandas here allows us to interact with structured data. It provides us data structures and functions to manipulate structured data. As far as data science is concerned, Pandas is the most used library and most important library, I can say. So Pandas here is derived from R language. We've discussed earlier that R is a language which is used in data science, which is used for data science. So Pandas is derived from R. It uses the advantages which are present in R to manipulate structured data and brings those advantages here in Python. And then we have the library called matplotlib, which provides visualization tools. Matplotlib here is derived from Tableau. It is ideated from Tableau and derives the advantages which are present in Tableau inside the Python. So if you have seen the pattern, the libraries of Python, NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib are derived from other languages, whole other languages. They bring in advantages of all the other languages present in data science into Python and make our life very, very comfortable. So that is why Python is becoming the most preferred language as far as data science is concerned. So that is the reason why Python is so famous, so hyped, and people just use Python blindly. So we also have other libraries in Python which are used for specific purposes like machine learning or vision or so on. And we have scikit-learn here, which is the Python workhouse for machine learning. It is used in linear regression and many other machine learning tasks. So having talked about Python, let's just talk about Anaconda. What Anaconda is? Basically, Anaconda provides an environment in which all the libraries of Python are already installed and ready to deploy. It is just an working environment in which the libraries of Python are installed and we can just use it. And then we have Anaconda Navigator. Anaconda Navigator, as you can see here, this is the Anaconda Navigator. And we have Jupyter Notebook, which is the environment in which we work on Python. What is Anaconda Navigator is, it is a graphical user interface. What do I mean by graphical user interfaces? Without the navigator, we would have to run in inline commands in the terminal for us to deploy the libraries and work with Python. With Anaconda Navigator, we can just launch the Jupyter Notebook over here. We can just click on launch. The Jupyter Notebook gets launched, and then we can work on Python. We can deploy the already installed libraries which are present in the Anaconda environment, and thus it makes our life easier, providing us with these facilities. So we have talked about Python, and then the hype of data science, and then Anaconda Navigator. So basically a brief discussion about what data science and Python is. So yeah, Ashit, you can take over from now.
Thank you, Abhijit. So that was our segment on data science. And as he rightly said, the demand for data analysts, data scientists, machine learning engineers is not on the rise just in India, but also in the US and the rest of the world. Right now, approximately data scientists and machine learning engineers are paid 30% more than a regular software engineer. So there is a lot going on outside in the field right now. So next we have Anshuman, an associate analyst, who will be talking about the fascinating world of machine learning, or as it's called ML, and artificial intelligence, or AI. He will also be showing you a really cool simulation that he has built from scratch, which is of a self-playing game. So over to you, Anshuman.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to ask, am I audible right now?
Yeah, I'm audible.
Okay. So hello everyone, I'm Anshuman Mishra. I'm from second year BTech and I'm majoring in EC. So first of all, I'd like to clear to everyone that I'd like to make this session less of a theory and more of practical stuff. You can ask your doubts in between, but in chat box, and the questions will be answered for sure. We have Akshay Bhaiya, we have Harshit Bhaiya over there, so they'll be handling your queries. And in case your query is unanswered, you can as soon as I end my presentation, you can drop it again. So I'll look at chat box and then I'll give I'll try to answer all your queries. In any case, you can come in contact with me through I'll share a number at the end. So okay, let's have a dive in what machine learning is. You guys are freshers, so while applying for JOSA admission after JE, you guys have heard that since last year artificial intelligence has become really popular in us The students who clear JEE, because IIT Hyderabad it's the first institute, the first IIT of India that has introduced the proper BTech course in the artificial intelligence. So since then, actually it was introduced in our year, so it became quite popular back then. So that's why I got too interested into it. So you guys have might must have used many applications of AI in your day-to-day life. Basically what machine learning is, it's the part of artificial intelligence. And you guys must also have heard about robotics is also a part of AI is not it AI is a very vast domain that contains machine learning, deep learning, reinforcement learning, and robotics, and many other fields too. So how machine learning is different from the programs that we write in you're in PSCP, like you might have seen, like you might have got introduced to C++ PSCP, where you have a language called C++. You write some code and you execute using the GNU C++ compiler, dev C++ compiler. Suppose you wrote a program for product, then the computer returns its product, right? That's as simple as that. Now what how a machine learning program differs from normal C++ program, or a AI program differs from uh, normal your language program. Actually what machine learning is, basic in machine learning, we like our computer learns to do stuff on its own. Means we are not writing any instruction to computer. Suppose we want our computer to learn to add two numbers, it will be like, we won't write just a plus b. No, it's not like that. We will first train him, like we will teach him how to add, just like we teach a child. Suppose you have a child, you are teaching him to how to count, then you will say like this is 1 2 3 4, like something like that, right? Similarly, that's machine learning, where we teach our computer how to learn. And let's uh, let's see, can you guys guess, you can answer in chat box. Have you seen any application of machine learning in present, or like in your day-to-day life? uh, Artificial intelligence basically. Okay, you can answer in chat box. I'll wait for a minute. Okay, okay, nice. Okay, let's have a look at what actually are the famous applications of artificial intelligence. In artificial intelligence, and you can say machine learning, we have major branches like computer vision, natural language processing, and others too. So this object detection thing, this is the very popular you can say application. Then comes the neural style transfer. Suppose you have a picture of Mona Lisa and you want to paint this image in style of another image. So you can use this style transfer. Like when I implemented it back in June, I painted my friend's photo with some funny style images and sent into them. Then like they was like, wow, it's cool. Then comes the object detection, that you use Microsoft Office Lens, right? So you scan your images, then you must have seen that it detects a boundary of your paper and text, and it also recognizes text. So it in paints, like it has many image processing tools. This also involve it, this is the this comes in the field of computer vision. Then we have self-driving cars, like uh, Elon Musk has become the richest person of world lately. So Tesla has become really famous, and its work has been recognized by us. Yeah, and it's working for towards delivering the self-driving cars towards for humanity. And recently, 3 to 4 days back, there came a news where a self-driving car by Tesla saved a human from a really dangerous car accident. So you can say and it was unmanned car, right? It was totally trained using reinforcement learning and robotic stuff. So you can say how benchmark performance is being achieved from day to day life. And then comes a face lock, like face recognition system. You have a face lock in your right. You can save your face. Then when it sees your face, only if it's your face, then only if the phone gets unlocked, otherwise it doesn't get means computer knows, phone knows ki it is your face. Similarly comes to fingerprint recognition. Okay, so the companies, the logos that you are seeing over here are the biggies that use AI in day-to-day life, and very much. You have Facebook, Instagram that we use. It recommends like stuff to you. For Instagram, you have stories recommendation, like when you scroll through stories, you get recommendation. Facebook has also something like that. Like many applications are there, video recommendation. So does YouTube and Spotify and Netflix. You have YouTube, like whatever is your feed, it based on that it recommends more videos. So is the Spotify. Suppose you are listening to one Direction song, then it will recommend will say the Vamp song, whatever it is, like and the songs with similar lyrics, like similar thing. Then comes the Gmail. You guys must have seen the spam tool of the Gmail, right? Whenever email seems fishy to Gmail, it puts it into spam folder. That's there comes a classification role. The classification task, that's a simple machine learning task, and even you can train it too. It just take you can say a couple of hours to do that decent model. Then you have a Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa. Typical uh, high end chatbot that involve many things. Like they also have a voice to, like text to speech system, like voice control, and many other, like they are very efficient. Then comes the Tesla, like I mentioned. It's on its mission to give very decent self-driving cars for humanity. Then comes the health. In healthcare, we have like in healthcare, the X-ray detection, like many diseases are detected from the X-ray of the humans. And the deep learning, the computer vision, to go into technical terms, typically the CNNs have achieved 99% accuracy, even more than the typical doctor. Then we say like personalized marketing. In the marketing, we have you guys have do you know about stock marketing? Or you can also predict the price of stocks using many sequential models. Those come the price of and also you have like there were Kaggle competitions in March or June, where we were asked to predict the growth of coronavirus. Like I also participated in that, the time series analysis. And also I made a computer vision, like CNN model for detecting coronavirus through chest X-ray. Actually it was suitably well, but not it was not recommended to be operated in industrial. Like it was not to be deployed because it's like security is not guaranteed. So let's have a little bit technical dive in what basically the types of machine learning is. Like so far I've been telling you what machine learning is and where do we see it, what's the applications and all, right? So it will be nice as of now to give you a little you can say insight of the terms, the main keywords. What machine learning, when it comes to machine learning, we have a on a broad aspect, we have supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. I've been working on RL lately. We call reinforcement learning as RL in short, but we don't call supervised learning as SL. These three are classification, but not enough. There is a very vast area too that does not comes in this classification. Like you can use supervised techniques in unsupervised, and vice versa. You have things called meta learning. Suppose there was a project by you can say a Stanford based startup that did IHC quantification using image segmentation. They used, so you can say uh, this technique in this technique. That's what I can say in short. For supervised learning, suppose like I told you in the spam feature in Gmail, right? It is able to categorize between spam and non-spam. Non-spam, not spam means suppose you get emails, email letters, right? Some like some market stuff. They You get promotional emails, and it categorizes the emails into promotional and many different categories. It also puts some into spam, that language seems fishy or malicious links are there, it also gets recognized. So that part comes in supervised learning. And like I told you, it will take you only 2 hours to train a supervised learning model, and you can use it in your own project. Then comes unsupervised learning. One thing I forgot to mention, you use supervised learning when you have a proper structured data. What I mean by structured data here is, well, suppose you have a data that is labeled, that's called structured data. While training for a spam non-spam classifier, you have a proper, like when you have a like you let's discuss about model also. What a machine learning program is called, it's called as model. It's a specific term used for model. And when we teach model to learn, like just like we teach the kid to learn, this process is called training. And when we evaluate its performance, that's called testing. And these terms are very familiar to you in your day-to-day life. So in supervised learning, we have labeled data. First, we tell ki, this mail is fake, this mail is not spam, this mail is promotional, something like that. Then our model learns, and we have then we pass data multiple times. Then it learns, then it performs. That's as simple as that. Then is unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning, we don't have any idea what we want to do exactly. Suppose you are given with a bunch of fruits, that's a collection of fruits. And so what your computer, if you are using an unsupervised learning model, it will do is, it will separate colors, it will separate fruits of similar properties. It's the term for it is called clustering. Say you have a couple of fruits, and then you keep ones aside, this red green ones aside, then this yellow ones aside. This is called a clustering thing, and this is called as unsupervised learning. There are many more techniques on unsupervised learning. You can refer to material that will provide at the end of the session, so stick with it. Then comes the most coolest part of the AI that has ever achieved. It's reinforcement learning. In the reinforcement learning, you have an agent, and that interacts with an environment, and it gets some reward, gets some action. Now it was that, you can say, technical definition. To put in simple words, you guys must have played video games, right? You must have played GTA Vice City and GTA San Andreas, and PUBG. You can take PUBG too. Okay, so I'll take example of GTA Vice City. Like you, if you have played it well, then you must remember that RC helicopter mission. That was like where you had an helicopter, and you were supposed to like drop the bomb in the floors of building, that containers over there. Then at the end, we were supposed, like the building will be blasted off, and then that was what mission. So what mission, that mission, our final goal in it is called our policy. And like for that, you will follow some specific steps, and at each step you want to plot the put the bomb and at its particular required position. That's what technique you'll be following. For that, we will be taking some action. Suppose you had helicopter, you put it up, you drop the bomb, that's an action. You go forward, that's an action. You turn right, that's an action. You start fly, that's an action. What state is, the states is, as the term itself says. Suppose you are flying, then your state is flying. Then you, if you are in a building, then your state is in a building. You have coordinates over there. You, the reward, suppose you plot the bomb or you complete the mission, you get some point, right? That's called reward. So before and also about the reinforcement learning, I'll be also showing you the project that I've done recently. I trained a Super Mario that learns to play on its own, just like a true AI, true artificial intelligence. It's not as smart as Jarvis, but still it's like I've been working lately, right? So let's come to deep learning, and what deep learning is, deep neural network is. So far I told you guys about what machine learning is, but machine learning, it's very old. It's lasting since 1950, and then came the deep learning. Although it was introduced in 1991 around, but still it has become popular recently in 2016, when Sundar Pichai in Google I/O 2016 announced that we are porting our all the systems to deep learning. and they stated that the deep learning models performed drastically improved the performance of their system, including search engine, their image system, and after that only they built the Google Assistant and many other image recognition systems, Snapspeed, many applications by Google. And that how you can understand the term, the fantasy of deep learning, and it was the term only that dragged me into machine learning field. Like I was so excited after watching that video. You can go watch all the Google I/O sessions, and specifically those of TensorFlow. You will be like, you will guys, the Sundar Pichai every year speaks something or other thing. Like I always wait to listen to him. So let's have a little idea about what neural networks and deep learning is. So how different the deep learning is from machine learning. In machine learning you have simple models. In deep learning is also a part of machine learning, a sub branch. But in deep learning all your models are based on a simple architecture. I won't say it's simple. It's called neural network, but its calculation is like, it's pretty easy to understand. Suppose this thing you called a neuron, these circles are called neurons. Then you have, when you have neurons stacked together, it form a layer. So this is layer, this is layer, this is layer, this is input layer, this is output layer. Here will be receiving the data, the outputting the data, and you will be transferring it in network. Also you have studied about the biological neuron in biology, right? So the neuron in the deep learning and the neural network, it's exactly same as the biological neuron and the nervous system of human beings. So again, the AI, the learning process and the system of machine learning seem similar, come out to be similar to what humanity's technology is. Not actually technology, what which techno like humans what are made of. So it's come out to similar to that. In a biological neuron you must have you might remember, it's called it's you have a nucleus, then you have dendrites, then you have an axon. What you have is dendrons receive some data in form of electrical pulses, then transfer it through axon to another neuron. That's what it does, right? Same does this neuron. This receive data from previous the neurons of previous layer, then it processes it, and then it transfer to the neurons in another layer. The same action is exactly and this structure is formed. This is called a neural network. I you can code it in and like I coded it in C++ and Python scratch. So let's have a little more intro about what neural network is. Okay, I'll show you the demo for this as well. Oh, sorry. So yeah, let's see what neural network is. Like I told you in the structure before. Wait a minute. You guys can post your in the chat box. Don't forget. So the neural network look like this, something like this. Now I will make a neural network in front of you, and I will show you how it trains. Suppose you have a task of suppose you have given with a graph like this, and you want to make a boundary that correctly distinguishes between these two. Suppose to put it in more practical way, suppose you are trying to say like you have a problem of distinguishing between cats and dogs. Act simple. Let's take it simple. And so you have a problem of distinguishing cats and dogs, and you are not supposed to do it. You want your computer to do it. Means you have to use your computer to make it decide whether the given image or thing is a cat or a dog. So what you will do is you will gather some properties. Suppose we are taking a height and color, something like, although there are many features, for sake of simplicity of understanding right now we will take only two features. What features here is the x and y axis thing. So for a particular point you have coordinates, right? X and y. So these will be features, and features will be, say you can say you are taking height, right? So you will express in form of a number, a float or a double. or whatever it is, and you have also the color. A color is a RGB value. From 0 to 55 it has value of pixel, so you can take that data. So these are your practical practical things that have been expressed in form of mathematics, the numbers, and you plotted the entire properties on this. Now these orange one correspond to dog and the blue one correspond to cat. Now you want to make a model. Recall that a model is an AI program that we train. The training is a process of making it learn how to do things, and you want to draw a boundary that classifies between, like it will be a curve that says हाँ अगर ये x इतना होगा तो और y इतना होगा तो it will be a cat, otherwise it will be a dog. So what you plan to make a neural network for that. Also note that the neural networks are the universal approximator. So let me make a neural network first, then I will show you what I'm trying to say. So you make just a random neural network. Okay, so this is something like neural network. Your x and y points are fed into this. Okay, then your output will be gathered from here. It will be a binary 0 or 1 thing that will predict, or you can say for the display purpose here it has been shown in the form of a curve. So I will start training. Training means I'm teaching my model to learn. I will be passing the x and y coordinates again and again through this network. Means suppose x came here, it multiplied by some weight. Weight is a floating point. Suppose each edge, this is called edge, it has some number. And see here, on clicking here it comes a weight, right? So from this to this, we have a contribution of this, like x1 multiplied by some weight w. So let's start training. So like whenever we have a forward propagation, means iska weight multiplied by some weight, it added to the, say यहाँ पे इस वाली न्यूरॉन के corresponding we have four neurons in next, right? w1 w3. So it will w1x1 goes here, w2x2 goes, the w2x1 goes here, w3x1 goes here, something like that. Everything gets added, clustered, added, something like that. You can understand. So let's train model. So I started training model. Means our data was passing through this again and again this network. Then our what is the current boundary? You got this. So at the 68th epoch, you got a classification boundary. Means when you pass the data 68 times, you get a boundary like this, and it has been classified very well. That's how a neural network works. So if you have and then becomes a learning rate, and these are all the technical stuff. I won't type into it right now. Okay. So like as of now we have talked about the applications, what AI is, what machine learning is, what neural network is, what deep learning is, and what need and success of deep learning is, and how famous deep learning is that Google is using in day-to-day life. So now it comes to a point when you'd like to know कि हम इसको code कैसे करें. Okay, everything seems fantastic, but I just want to code this. Okay, so what you do is, like for you guys, the Google has made a library called TensorFlow, and the Facebook has made a library called PyTorch. These are trust me, these are the mostly used frameworks at the till date. And there were many others like Microsoft, TK, and there was Theano, but they are not used till on date. So TensorFlow is used for production, and PyTorch is used for research, and because it's fast for experimenting. And I'd like to mention here that using TensorFlow, I use TensorFlow for, you can say, for an entire 1.5 year, and I have done many projects in that, and we made cool stuff. And PyTorch I have started using recently, and I like PyTorch more. It's fast and coding style is better. So let's come to the part of reinforcement learning, and here I'll be showing you the Mario that I made. So like I told you the example of RC helicopter of in GTA Vice City, right? So you guys can keep asking chat the questions in your chats if you have any doubt. So yeah, so I told you about the RC helicopter example. Let's recall a little bit about it. So you had a helicopter. You just when you move up or you turn right, you just fly your helicopter. You rotate. This is called an action. The entire game environment is your environment. The policy is basically your ultimate goal, that you have a certain goal, right, to plot the bomb and blow up the building. That's your goal. Then so you'll follow some policy. The reward, suppose your mission is completed, you get some points. Or you can, or you, if you in say Vice City, if you killed someone, there was a cheat for heavy weapons, right, metal tools, there was something like that. So using machine gun, you killed them, so you got a kill and you got some points, your reputation plus hua. Then this is called rewarding. Okay, then comes exploration exploitation trade-off. So whenever you start to play a game, so you, whether it be Among Us, whether it be GTA or a phone, any game, any game like that, so there comes a fact of exploration and exploitation trade-off. So like I'll tell you the example of PUBG. Say when the day one you entered into PUBG, you first explore the interface कि हाँ भाई कहाँ से open होता है, कहाँ से we get guns, कहाँ से we do like navigating. Then you enter into game, you have a plane, you jump off the plane. Then you see your environment. Then you see for places to hide, you see for buildings where we can get weapons, where we can get bombs, grenades, and where are the enemies. You have a zone thing, and you are supposed to maintain a proper zone for that with your friends, something like that, right? That's called exploration and exploitation. To put it more formally, when you enter a game, you first see कि कहाँ पे क्या है, जो जहाँ पे है उसको पहले देखो क्या है. You are new to it, you will explore it. Then exploit. What knowledge you have gathered, use it to do something. That's called exploitation. That is, suppose you can use the you can take that advantage of topology to hide and kill set steadily in Cover Strike. That's like the Cover Strike game IGI2 you must have played. So guys, I am not going too far in technical details. I would like to show you what I made actually. Let it be practical. So just a sec. So I have we use only Python. So I have made you can say a Mario agent that learns to play on its own. Means you must have played Super Mario in your classes, small, like when you were small, like you had the video games, right? I got my video game in class second, and I played this game a lot. So I had an idea of making like this agent. Let's see. So CUDA is just a G that my computer is gonna use. So wait. So this is my agent. It is trying to learn to play on its own. It's learning to play on its own. It will see. It's what it is doing. It's doing on its own, not doing anything. See. To be precise, it takes many steps to so as far there are 3,000 step 1.2 k steps have been episodes have been happened. It needs 10k episodes to perform decently well. So it needs a lot of computational power, and it needs a GPU. So soon I'll be running out of my RAM. So I'm closing it. If you are interested particularly in this, you can contact me with respect to that. So this was actually, while presenting in Google Meet, it also uses my GPU. So my CUDA memory runs out of it. So that's the issue. So I can make it visible to you for long time. So here on, I'll be handing over to Harshit Bhaiya.
Thank you, Anshuman. I think that was fantastic. The Mario game was quite interesting, and A lot of things about machine learning, its uses and all were explained really well. Thank you so much. So next up, we have Ayan Ali from fourth year chemical. He is from the consulting team of our club, and he's going to introduce to you about the crazy world of consulting, on all the top companies that are there and how you can crack into consulting. Ayan, over to you.
So firstly, thank you, Harshit, for inviting, and like you have given a brief intro of me. So I'm a final year student pursuing my chemical engineering, and I'm the part of club as a consultant. And like since you are freshers, so I just want to inform you that I'm also a student council member. So any issues which you are facing, you guys can contact me. So let's start into like this is not something where like because consulting word I myself heard it when I was in third year. So like I'm assuming many of you may not be familiar with this term. So this will be more like a discussion kind of session. So I have just listed out the common questions here which I feel you people might be getting as and when I'm talking. So first question is what is consulting? Like the basic, I'll just give a very small example. Suppose you're getting a fever. So like your parents will say that okay, consult a doctor, or like any problem you are having, you'll be like okay, consult this XYZ person. So who, like I mean, who is that person who is consulting? As in, like he or she has the technical expertise in that particular domain, and they will offer you their services in order for some like some compensation. Either it can be money or anything. So like I mean, this was just a very like layman example. I'll just give you real life examples. Suppose there is a company X. So like there are consulting firms. So basically like these company X will go to these firms and say that okay, there are various kind of business problems such as company X might be facing losses, or company X wants to expand its businesses, or they want to have a new joint venture. Joint venture is basically two companies or like a number of companies are clubbing up and like entering into a new business, or like another business problem can be like we want to enter a new particular region, like the company X currently it is operating only in India. Now they want to enter in Europe. So is that, I mean, shall we go there or not? So, I mean, like these questions now for them, there is the answer cannot be told just in few seconds or few minutes. This is like, I mean, such kind of problems take like a good number of weeks or months to finish, because like the last example which I was telling, that company X is operating in India and we want to, it wants to go to Europe. So is that feasible option or not? So there are tons of parameters. You need to see what product the company is selling. What if the product which company X is selling, it is completely banned in Europe? So the answer is straight away no. And okay, let us assume that the product which they're supplying, it is already there in Europe. So like uh, then they have to see in Europe, are there already major market players? Because usually what we common people do is we trust the most famous brands. So then we have to see, like we have to do competitor analysis. We have to see who all are already there in the market, and how, like we have to see the pricing structure. We have to see the customer like behavior towards our products. Then we need to see the investments needed, because like shifting the base to a foreign country is not a easy task. And when usually such kind of decision is are happening, these investments are worth like uh, crores. I mean, and like 1 and 2 crores are also not a small like a small number for these companies. It can be 20 crores, 30 crores, 40 crores. So now just assume that if a person, like if a doctor gives you a wrong medicine, you can die. Similarly, if a wrong consulting is done, so accordingly, like so much money can be wasted. So that's why people usually go to like proper consulting firms who are well known. So any prerequisites required? And one more thing, like you might be thinking, okay, like we are from CAC, EC, EEE, or like whatever branches. So like why am I talking all this? Like is this even taught in our engineering? So the answer is no. Like specifically, these things are not taught in your engineering. Usually, these are things which you learn in your MBA. But again, like since we are from tier 1 and tier 2 colleges of India, so usually even like IITians and NITians, they are like they can be taken as consultants, or I mean like later on I'll be just explaining you the hierarchy of consulting. But yeah, even IITians and NITians are taken as consultant. I myself am placed in a company called as Online Solutions as a consultant. So like the things which are required, the prerequisites are, I mean, first of all, you should have a very good communication skills, because I'll just explain a typical problem, like how company X went to a consulting firm. So you can't expect company X employees will go to the firm regularly and like taking the like progress of what is the like how far the solution has come. The a consultant from the consulting firm will go towards the company X's location, and then they will be trying to figure out, because as I told you, a lot of data must be generated, and for few things data is already there, but in few aspects you need to generate your own data. Like for example, if you are just making a new product, so you don't know how correct the price can be, so you'll just do a pilot run means like just in front of few audience, and you'll be seeing that okay, are they ready to accept with those charges. So such kind of data needs to be generated. It is not readily available. So that's why these consultants, like, they have to go to the client's location, and they need to interact with them, they need to take many interviews, lot of research is involved, and then they come up with proper solution. So the prerequisites which I can say is, first of all, you should have good problem solving skill and good financial knowledge of technical terms, because like I'll just give few various examples. Like I'll be telling the same problem statement for different industries. So the problem statement is, company X is having loss since the past 3 years. Suggest me how will I improve them. So if the company X is a chemical industry, then the questions which you should ask in order to solve that problem will be different. If company X is from advertising agency, the questions which you need to ask is different. If company X from hotel industry, then the questions you need to ask is completely different. So that's why, like, you should have good terminology and general awareness of all businesses, because when you are saying that you are from a particular consulting firm, like they will have a specific domain expertise, that okay, we perform consulting services in XYZ domains. So whenever these companies, I mean the XYZ companies, they'll be coming to the consulting firms, they should have a problem with respect to XYZ domains. So you should have a proper knowledge of it. And now one major prerequisite is, the you should have good data visualization and data analytics skill. And that is the whole reason why there is a consulting cell into big data analytics club, because like without having a proper knowledge of data, you like consulting cannot be done. And this doesn't mean that you like, I mean consulting may not, it can be a job related to coding, but like there are people who will be there are people who will code and make you the reports. So but you should have the ability to understand those reports, for which good, like you should have the knowledge of this I mean the terms used in data analytics. Suppose it can be like financial forecasting, or what is the mean, median, mode, etc., and what are the various type of plots. So such kind of knowledge you should be having. And like with respect to campus placement, few prerequisites can be, you should have good knowledge of guesstimates. So guesstimates is guess estimate. Now suppose if I ask you a question, tell me, yeah, uh, did anyone say something?
No, I think there was an issue. You can continue.
Okay. So suppose if I ask you, tell me the quantity of potato chips in India. Now that is a question which a person cannot just say like independent in a second. So you need a proper analysis for it. Like I'll just give like I'll not solve the so see, there's a guess plus estimate. You are, it's not like a guess. You won't say that there are like 1 crore kg of potato chips. That is just a guess, but there's a guess estimate. So you need to show your approach as to how you are solving. So you can just divide the population of India is 1.3 billion, and we are divided into various economic classes such as like lower middle class, upper middle class. Then you can see the, like, you can have the average idea of potato consumption. So like that, you need to deep dive further, and like solving a guesstimate problem can even take 20 to 30 minutes. So like you need to do so much detailed analysis. So that is one skill which can which is important for a campus placements, because even like I got a off campus internship in my fourth year first semester. In my interview, like they asked me this question that, okay, tell me the number of white cars in Hyderabad. So I mean, it's a very important skill for a consultant. Then another thing is case studies. So case studies is basically like the business problems which I was telling you, that company X is having is facing losses. How should we overcome it? So there is a business problem. Or company X current revenue is, suppose, like $1 billion. They want to make it $3 billion in the coming 5 years. Tell us the proper strategies. So there is a case study problem. So in this, like, the data will be very, very, like, there may not be any data also. It can be just a single line problem statement. But the person who is interviewing you, he or she will have the entire data with him. You need to ask questions and get those data. Until you don't ask that specific question, he or she won't tell you that data. So I mean, you should know properly that, okay, for a particular business problem, what are the right kind of questions which comes on I mean, which you can do by practice only. So next question is how to pursue career in consulting. So you have two options. uh, like the as I told you that there's not specifically taught in engineering. You generally, people after MBA go to consulting firms. So the best option can be you do your MBA, and from there you join a consulting firm. And since but luckily we are from a good college, so like we also get a chance to directly start a career in consulting. So there are two ways. I mean, like, there are consultant is someone because like he or she already knows the like the domain in which the company is working. But since we are also at a like from NIT, few companies, since we don't have an MBA background, they may take us as analyst, like business analyst or data scientist. So for these things, like the prerequisites which whatever Abhijit and Anshuman were going on, those are very, very important. Because at that time, when you're applying for a business analyst role or data scientist role, they are expecting that you should have these prerequisites, because you will be the one who will be getting insights from all the data or asking the questions, and these reports will be helpful to the consultant. So eventually, when you are working after few years, then you yourself will turn into a consultant. So next question is, what will we do as a cell in terms of consulting? So see, the main aim is that like more and more people should know about this field, and like they should participate, because like good number of companies actually come to our campus related to these fields. So we are planning to do everything, starting from like teaching, like having mentorship sessions with our alumni or people who are already placed in those companies, and having case study workshop, guesstimates workshop, then mock case study interviews. So we are planning to do all that, and soon, like once the like club is expanded, and we'll be planning the sessions very soon. So top firms in management consulting. So like there's this thing called as Big Four, and I mean Big Four is a term used for any kind of business, like Big Four in IT industry, Big Four in consulting firm, then Big Four in software. So Big Four in management consulting is basically this Deloitte, KPMG, McKinsey, BCG. Then there are other brands called as EY, Ernest and Young. Then you have Bain and Company. So like that, these are the top firms. Then like I mean companies I'll be showing you in the next slide. But before that, I mean, related to consulting cell, here we have 4 to 5 people here who are placed in the respective domains. Like as I already told you that I am placed as a consultant in a company called as O9 Solutions. Then we have Akshay, who is placed in American Express as an analyst, and Prithvi is placed in analyst in Deutsche Bank, and who is we have Adhav, who is placed as a business analyst in Deloitte. So any queries are there, you can always contact me. I'll just type in my number here. Just a minute. Yeah, you can always message me and you can discuss about like your interest or any other thing as well, any general problems. So now we'll just go to the next slide, and this is just as a motivation for you all that like software development SDE, as we call software development engineer, that is not the only profile. Like what usually, like you will be guessing that okay, CSE people or this ECE triple people, they may be going only for software development. The answer is no, there are other profiles also coming to our campus, and good number of companies are there. The list which I'm showing, that's just a small list. Still the placement season is not over, and we are expecting good number of companies further. So can you just show the next slide, Abhijit? Anshuman. Yeah. So these are the companies. You can see that many good brands are also there here. If it is Citibank, then Axis Bank, Deloitte, Novartis, American Express, then ZS Associates is there, SAP Labs. There are so many top companies offering analyst profiles. So like this is just a motivation for you, and this is not the complete list. So still you can say like 10 to 15 companies must be added, but due to lack of like, I mean, it will be too overwhelming if I show the entire list now itself. But yeah, so I mean now you can get a fair idea as to like how the opportunities in this field. So yeah, that's it from my side. Harshit, over to you.
Thank you, Ayan. That was quite informative. So a lot of freshers, you guys might not really know what consulting is, right? But for all of you, those who are uninitiated, consulting is an extremely lucrative job. So people who do MBA, most of them do it for the sole reason of getting into consulting. So if you see people walking around in suits, talking about all expensive stuff, it's highly likely that those guys are consultants. So thank you, Ayan, once again. With that, we come to the conclusion of today's event. So thank you so much, guys, for coming for coming for the event. So now, before we conclude, let's just look at why you would. So we're going to hire first years as volunteers for the club. So we already have 28 students India, third year, fourth year, MTech, MCA, all combined. So we will be looking for volunteers to join us from first year. So why would you want to join us? So our students, our final year students, are placed in companies like Microsoft, MasterCard, American Express, Wells Fargo, Deloitte, O9 Solutions, OnePlus, and a ton of other companies, right? So by joining the club, you are getting exposure to all these people who will be training you, will be telling you the tips and tricks and of how to nail all these big companies. And finally, before we conclude, you guys can follow us on Facebook. Our club's page is the Big Data Analytics and Consulting Cell. You can find us on LinkedIn, or you can visit our website. So I can see a message that's asking how do I volunteer for the club. So in the next couple of days, we will be releasing a Google form. So once you guys fill in the form, we'll be looking at your interest, what all you've done. So at this point, definitely we're not looking at your experience. We understand you're freshers. So your interest in the field and what you know about the field is what is going to be the picking point for us. So I think that is it. That should be it. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in and spending your time. I hope you guys learned a lot from this session. So yeah. So also, the final thing is we have an event coming up next week called the Data Analysis Series. So Abhijit in the first half was talking about doing data visualization, and plotting stuff and stuff like that. So we will be having 3 sessions that the team members will be presenting next week. We will be posting all We will be posting all of this on your class groups on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So we would recommend all of you to follow us. And yeah, thank you so much for coming. And we will also be dropping a couple of links in the comment box. So those of you who want to learn more about machine learning and data science on your own can definitely follow those links. Thank you so much, guys, once again.
Guys, how was the? Can you just give a quick feedback in the chat